Educators across California are working on a plan to reopen schools this summer, and it's looking like hybrid learning, a mixture of in-class instruction and distance learning. It's a strong possibility. Morning anchor Angela Chin takes a look at what schools across the desert could look like when they reopen again this summer.
In a normal world, a day at school means a day of sharing your space. From bustling classrooms to lunchtime lineups to a simple shoulder-to-shoulder walk down the halls, students are in close contact all the time. It's how it's always been. But with schools set to reopen this summer under new coronavirus health guidelines, how can you get back into the educational groove while still social distancing? It's a tough prompt with no easy answer.
Instead of just having a typical plan A and maybe a plan B, we have plans A through Z running in our minds right now, not knowing which plan we're going to be in.
The superintendents of Palm Springs, Desert Sands, and Coachella Valley Unified School Districts all say they're waiting on state guidelines before releasing district instructions.
We're all waiting to see what the medical recommendations are going to be, because whatever they are, we're going to have to follow for the safety of our students and staff.
It's not going to look the same at schools across California. California's superintendent of schools has said each district will make its own decision on when to open. And it's going to be tough. How do you hold recess and lunchtime when kids traditionally eat together, play together, while still following physical distancing guidelines?
It's widely believed that in order for us to reopen with schools in a social distancing kind of fashion, that students and staff will have to wear masks.
In a recent news conference, the state superintendent says they're still working on definitive guidelines and brainstorming through different scenarios.
Students may come in a morning shift, and then another group of students may come in an afternoon shift. That may be a way to accommodate the need to have much smaller class sizes.
As for the teachers union, the California Teachers Association, a number of concerns. In a statement to us, a spokesman said teachers locally have noted concerns over the technology gaps, either because students don't have access to internet or they lack the tools. Blended learning, combining in-class and distance learning, teaching and learning strategies and logistics to reduce class size are also concerns. All superintendents say they've made improvements to student internet access, but that it's tough to get to every student because of cable companies' reach in more rural areas. Another big question, whether staff will be laid off with all the budget shortfalls from the pandemic.
Will management look at taking reductions as well? Absolutely. We definitely will look at what we need to do across the board. So that's always the way we approach it, to make sure that we're feeling whatever needs to be done and the cuts that need to be made will be made across the district.
Certainly a lot of uncertainties right now, but then again, we are navigating our way through uncharted territory.
The reality is the superintendents are helping write the book on how we're responding, because the book doesn't exist on something like this historically, and we want to write it so that it reads well.
We're always amazingly good at keeping things going with less, really trying to dig deep and be creative around it, and then bringing back things when things get better.
Let us hope that, if nothing else, at the end of all of this, we can say we are still united together in overcoming whatever the next challenge will be.
In the Coachella Valley, Angela Chen, News Channel 3.
Now, the state also saying it's working with districts on what blended learning might look like, but they have yet to come up with anything set in stone. Another health precaution, Thurman says schools will have to open up with a lot of personal protective equipment on hand for students and staff. That means masks, hand sanitizer, the ability to wash hands, among other things. California could be short as well, complicating things, up to $19 billion in its education budget, and education leaders say part of the puzzle is figuring out how to do more with less.